Aloha. Nice to see you. So yes, this is the second book in the journey of my travels throughout this wonderful life. And my wonderful husband back there, a lot of the stuff that you might read in this book, you'll be like, what? And he actually saw it and said, what? I really hope my mother doesn't read this. Oh, she will probably see this video too, though. Anyway, it's a secret, some of the stuff in this book, okay? But it does chronicle some of our wonderful travels. We left here from Hawaii about 5 years ago. I took a job teaching English in China, and
A
it
little
was
closer to the mic, Uma.
One more time?
A little louder.
Oh, louder. Okay, I'm right on the mic. I'm not sure how I can be any louder, but how about that?
Diaphragm.
Okay. And so, yes, we were in China. I taught for about 7 months, and Dave was teaching some English, some guitar lessons. We met some really wonderful people. So the very end of my first book takes you into this book, and then it leads us into China and into India, because we also got to vacation in India, and that was a trip. Anybody been to China or India? It's amazing, isn't it? Did you enjoy the holes in the bathroom? So I have to say one funny story before I read a little bit of the book. So we were in China for 6 months, right? And usually you have the option of either a Western toilet or this hole in the ground. And well, raise your hand if you're going to be a little perturbed if I give you something graphic. Okay, good. One graphic. Close your ears, sir. Okay. It was really funny after a little bit because, so you kind of go to the restroom and they basically they squat over a hole instead of sitting on a toilet, and that's basically just what they do. It's easier. It just goes down. It does flush just like a toilet, but you don't sit anywhere. You just squat. So you see a lot of people squatting in those Asian countries. So it's basically. It's good for your legs. Yeah, it's not bad. In fact, when I was 18, I got this book by Raquel Welch, and it said, you should never sit on a toilet when you're away from home. You should always squat. Lift the seat and squat, right? So I did that for a while. Anyway, but back to my story. So, yeah, my husband was in China with me for those 6 months. I was there 7 months. I was there 1 month by myself, which is a part of the story. But so 6 months passed. We go on vacation to India, and we're staying at this ashram, and he tells me, I've never used the hole. Is there not a real toilet? And I'm like, no, how did you survive the whole last 6 months never using a hole? So I had to actually show him, and I'm like, okay, honey, you got to take everything off because it could get messy. And you might, a couple different places come stuff out, right? So you know what I'm talking about. You can imagine. Anyway, it's kind of graphic, but anywho, but it was very fun when we went to India, and just so many wonderful people we met. And I like to share, always a little bit of music. I will do that as well. But it's really interesting. It talks about where we were, I actually had this Facebook friend for about 7 years, and I kept wanting to get to India because I actually had a guru, and because my name is Love Guru Uma, but in my 20s I had a guru myself, and he taught me some very interesting things. Some of those things are in the book, but I won't get too graphic today. There are only a little few things that are a little graphic, and not so much colorful language as the last book. So this one is a little more tame, so you might like it. Anyway, so we're in India, and I did show him all of that, and the friend met us at the airport. And you'd think that India was not so hard because most of the people speak English there, but there are a lot of people trying to, maybe take advantage of you or, get your money in some fashion. So I was just going to read a smidgen of this. And the really interesting thing about my books is they're true adventure love stories as well as self-help books. So each chapter gives you a kernel of okay, there's the lesson that I learned. That's why it's called Lessons in Love. And creating your own happy ever after, because at the end it gives you actual things, tasks that you can do Whether you're in a relationship or you're a solo or you're completely happy now, it can still give you a little bit of something to improve your life right now. So I'm going to just read a smidgen of one of the chapters, and then I'm going to jump into some of the actual lessons. And then I'll take a couple of questions, hopefully. And back to India. And Dan and I were happy to have Dave meet us at the airport. This is DEV, by the way. And to help get transportation. Everyone spoke English, but you could tell they were probably going to rip you off if you didn't know what you were doing. Our first hotel in India was god-awful. It was midnight, so maybe Dave thought we wouldn't notice the big chunk of plastic missing on the toilet seat. But when you sat down, your butt almost fell through the hole. The neighborhood seemed sketchy with lots of older men outside the window, just one story down, smoking and speaking in loud voices at 1 a.m. now. The feeling it evoked reminded me of living in the ghetto of LA or a dirty dorm room at college. I knew Dan liked fancier things, and the room needed to be a little less crappy for him to enjoy himself. We didn't have a mint to spend, and we also wanted to enjoy our holiday. So the next day, I asked Dave to find us a better hotel. Just 3 blocks away was a much nicer hotel with a tree-filled courtyard, top-floor restaurant, and a beautiful room with sitting area attached. This felt like a resort in comparison. I felt shocked that somewhere so nearby seemed like such a stark contrast in quality. It felt to me like the Hilton just 3 blocks away from a Motel 6. Some people never understand how I feel things others don't, but I really do. The level of cleanliness, beautiful decorations, including painted and fabric art, and the overall vibe were stellar in comparison. This spot displayed large life-size bronze statues of men with large staffs and instruments of death, plus voluptuous ladies who must have been their consorts, lovers, or wives. I sensed immediately this had to be a Sikh establishment by the lack of Hindu gods and goddesses, and the Khanda symbol, 3 weapons in a circle, everywhere. This militaristic design sits atop their flag. We were warned about the water immediately upon our arrival. Don't drink it! So we used bottled water for everything, even brushing our teeth. Showering was tough to not let any get in your mouth, though. I remembered not to drink the water for a whole week until I forgot in the shower one morning while washing my face. The nausea hit within an hour or so. Luckily, that only lasted a day or so. Sprite helped. Dan has an iron stomach, and happily he remembered to avoid the water the entire trip. Our India agenda seemed to see most of India in 3 weeks. This was just the northern part, though. Included a 22-hour train ride to Varanasi, the holy city of the Ganges, and the tantric temple of Khajuraho. Dan and I had been on road trips on the big island of Hawaii, which could last a maximum of 4 to 5 hours, as you can drive around the island in that time frame. When you get tired, it's best to just head home rather than chance getting grumpy. Anybody else get grumpy on long trips? Just me? Oh, you guys. There we go. He never gets grumpy. I don't know what the deal is. Seriously, in 8 years of marriage, I've been like 8 years. He's only sort of kind of got irritated with me maybe 3 times in 8 years. Is that amazing? I know. So that's part of what makes love so wonderful. Yeah, let's give it up for my husband. Woo-hoo! Shall I round out the yin with the yang? Excuse me?
Is he in the blue t-shirt? Which one?
He has black on. He's kind of hiding right now, but there he is. Hi, Dave. His real name is D-A-V-E, which is different. His name is Dan in the book, but yeah, don't tell him. It's so hidden, right? Okay, so yeah, it's really interesting. When I saw the travel train and toilet hole shared by 30 to 50 people, I felt even more hesitant. Once we realized the seats were converted into sleeping bunks, it got even more real. We were definitely experiencing the real India. Thankfully, I'd brought Uno cards and Dan had our Kindle to read books. We found a cool soft cover. Anyway, la la la. And it's really an entertaining story. I'm going to jump now to some of the Lesson in Love's tasks. So these are some of the things that anyone can do to make or help their life just be a smidgen happier. Because the last time I was here, last June, I said, who out there is happily married or happy in love? And more than 3/4 of the people, I'm like, okay, well, you guys need to write a book, right? Please tell me no. It's not so hard. Just find the right mate, right? Raise your hand if you've done that already. Yay. See? You guys are right on it. So these things do help just a little bit, though. So lesson in love number 6 goes with chapter 6. Happiness is a choice. Various stressors come and go in everyone's life. We can rarely control the outside circumstances. The only thing we can truly control is how we react to it all. I can choose to worry, fret, and fume over stuff, whether it seems minor or major, but none of that helps helps me, it only compounds the stress and overall level of SHIT in my life. Lessons in love tasks. Begin to notice the stressors in your life and work to remove both them and your attachment to them. Try exercising 30 minutes every day. Who does that? Oh my gosh, you guys are right on target. Even starting with a simple 10-minute walk around the block is a beginning that you can build upon. I suggest a simple meditation technique that I had already talked about in book 1. Anybody tried EFT or the tapping solution out there? Yes, that helps too. I talk about that. And I also recommend read encouraging books like Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, Ask and It Is Given by just Esther and Jerry Hicks. Another lesson is from chapter 8, and the task is be playful and silly. Over the years, Dan and I have lived in Arizona, China, Eureka, California, Hawaii, and the Philippines. In some homes, we have a table or kitchen throughway where we chase each other around. Anybody else have a mate who chases you around? Okay, well that's something you might try. And then if you just want him to catch you, you just kind of go a little slow, right? That's fun, right? Okay, it maybe just be me. I don't know. Anyway, and also you can learn some new skills, but that's another story. Anyway, yeah, that's another thing. And another lesson is blessings can come in the form of a challenge. Anybody ever experienced that? How a challenge can lead to a blessing? Not quite? A little bit, yeah. In the middle of it, you're like, what? How can I survive this? It seems so crazy and like, right? And then after, oh, I get it. That's why that happened. It got me to the next spot, right? So throughout my life, each challenge led to a greater win. Each breakup led me to love myself more and choose a better partner. Even when my heart seemed to be breaking, life was preparing me for something greater. Each challenge makes you stronger, just like that song, something like, if it don't kill you, it makes you stronger. Oh yeah, it was a line in both Dan's and my favorite movie, The Fifth Element. Early on with Dan, I happened to ask, well, you don't want to hear that one, sorry. Yeah, I'll get in trouble, so I better not tell you that one. You can see his look of disapproval. No. Yeah, after a couple months together, I felt both jealous and scared when he wanted to go get closure with the last live-in former girlfriend. Anybody ever had that occur? I hear a chuckle, but no, yeah. And ladies, would you like that? What do you think, ladies? No. Not so much. Okay, good. Wasn't just me. I had to explain that my last fiance, Bobby, had a love fest when he saw his former and his not returning home till midnight, then packing a bag and going back to figure it out. Dan understood more when I explained more thoroughly, and thankfully it was chill with that girl burning sage around his body and letting him go energetically. And I thought I was new agey, right? And the lesson in love task for that chapter, let go of the drama. If it's not making you happy, you can turn around and walk the other way. If you see or communicate with people you know are going to trash talk, just stop talking to them. One of my girlfriends shared that someone trash talked me specifically, and I even asked the other person at the table who said it, and she said it was an in general complaint. Then I actually texted or talked to that person, didn't talk to them for about a month, but I don't think she even noticed. Become aware of your pain body. Sometimes we get so used to being and doing the same things, we don't even notice the groove that you get on, like a record, right? And you also could check out Mind Movies. It's an app that I found was very helpful. The last lesson in this particular book, you might be familiar with some of this, is hang around only positive, uplifting people. Who's noticed that certainly helps your life? Oh my God, yeah, right? If you have a complainer compared to a person who's, oh, it's great. You want to kind of have, a little bit of both, but yeah, if somebody's always complaining, like, I don't really want to hang around that person, right? So yeah, I try to be the person that people want to hang around, right? So this lesson is similar to the last one, yet a bit more specific. I have had to trim down my friends list in order to do this, but it's worth it. At times when I call my old positive-minded friends, I do call them even if they live across the country. Sometimes, even though I really want to speak my mind, instead of saying, why do you have to be such a not so nice person? It's you won't like this one. Why do you have to be so mean? I'll say, but I can just, not say that. I just, because you can't say that, right? But I always wonder, like, what do they get out of being so mean? Like, really? So I can't always say what pops in my brain most of the time, so I have to soften it. And you may have to make new friends and cultivate the ones you know are positive and contributing to your life experience. And those tasks for this chapter, don't wait, celebrate yourself every day. Self-care is what I'm saying. Deepak Chopra makes these suggestions, daily meditation, having wide social supports, close familial relationships and friendships, bunch of other things. And I also talk about some of Wayne Dyer's recommendations. Be an appreciator, find out what's valuable around you. Every thought of resistance keeps you from your good. Contemplate yourself surrounded by the conditions you want. You want to be in a constant state of gratitude. Anybody practice that before? I see a lot of nodding. Awesome, yeah. I like every day almost to write like at least 10 things that I'm grateful for today, and then when I go to bed I do that too. So it's sort of like the counting sheeps, but they're like 10 great things. And it's always that guy back there. And also practice Ho'oponopono. The Hawaiian art of forgiveness. There's no pleasing some people. Forgive them anyway. Remember that saying, holding a judge only poisons the person hanging on to the wrongdoing, or something like that. There are 4 easy steps to Ho'oponopono. Say or write or think, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. It sounds easy or silly perhaps, but it's truly powerful. And the last little suggestion or task is notice your feelings without a reason or excuse. Let them just be. Trust in the divine action happening through you as you, allowing you to have your one and only distinct, unique offering. I'm not saying to wallow in them for days or even hours, but do feel them, then let them go and choose differently. Again, it's all a choice. Do you want to be right or happy? I have to remind myself that sometimes when I forget. We're not perfect, so cut yourself some slack too. Self-help and improvements take time. So small incremental steps over long periods of time is key. That's what I'm talking about. And when you notice things are improving, reward yourself in some way. I also included an excerpt from the 3rd book in this series, and that book is going to be called Love is Knuckin' Futz. Knuckin' Futz. What? You got to switch the letters. Yeah.
Oh, fucking
I didn't say it, but yeah, close. And really, it was at some point. Yeah, I've been through some amazing things. Anyway, I like to end with a little love song. And anybody else in there, ladies, have you been already through menopause? Anybody? So just to let you know, I do spray my body. That's why I have this nice little cooler necktie on. I know, it's so hilarious. I teach still, I substitute teach, and the kids are like, what is that? And why do you spray yourself? So I have to go through this la 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 almost every day. It's really fun. So yeah, I'm gonna spray myself because it's warm. I'm not even that warm, but yet, you know, I'm still at that time where it feels like somebody's got a blowtorch on my face. It's insane, right? Anyway, here's a cute song. And I think you might know it, so if you know it, do sing along. And I know my husband loves this song. Right, baby? I might even do it like Ethel Merman. Are you ready for that?
No, be swell.
There you go. Oh, what's it want to do? Okay, I know you guys are going to know this. Here we go. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Everybody, you make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy if you will only do the same. But if you leave me to love another, you'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear, you really loved me, and no one else could come between. But you have left me to love another. You have shattered all my dreams. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. I do have an excerpt on Facebook on my page. Just look up Love Guru Uma. Check out the first chapter and have a great night. Thanks so much for coming tonight.